Did the steamship make seasickness more or less common? Did people really get sick from rocketing about the countryside on early trains that went all of 25 miles per hour? Did steamships and railroads make possible colonial conquest, or at least exploitation? These and other questions will be answered right after this. I am Professor Jerome Arkenberg, and I've been teaching a wide variety of history courses at colleges across this country for the past 30 years. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the effect of the Industrial Revolution on travel and commerce by road, rail, and sea. How first canals, then railroads, made it possible to move factories down from the hills, and how the revolution in transportation overturned all previous ideas of time and space. At the end, I'll have the wrap-up quote on this video, so make sure to stick around for it. But first, make sure to click like, share, especially subscribe, and that little bell thingy, so I can continue to bring you more great videos just like this one.
When John Henry was a little baby boy, you could hold him in the palm of your hand. He gave a long and lonesome cry, gonna be a steel driving man, Lord, Lord, gonna be a steel.
A revolution in transport, made possible by canals, railroads, and steamships, led to a shrinkage of cost, of time spent in transit, and of space, which overturned all previous ideas of what is and could be possible. Innovation in transport spurred greater growth and further innovation, and a greater ability to import food in famines, and greater ability to establish overseas colonies and exploit them by running either steamships on the rivers into the interior, or, if that was not possible, building railroads to do exactly the same thing. Medieval roads, many of which follow the old Roman network where it existed, and you see it here in England. This is Watling Street up to Chester. These are all the main old Roman roads. Notice some areas, much of Wales, others are completely untouched. Medieval roads that still existed were poorly maintained. Here's a medieval road in Scotland, and oh my goodness. Subject to innumerable tolls, and here is a toll bridge. No billy goat gruff at the bottom taking the toll, just your local government. And infested with robbers, bandits, and highwaymen, who would just as soon kill you as rob you, because the penalty for both was exactly the same. So why leave any witnesses? The late 17th and early 18th century saw an exploding network of privately built and maintained turnpikes, toll roads, backed by acts of parliament, giving them rights of way across private land. And you see, of course, this is a milestone on one of these turnpikes. This is the Turnpike network in 1740. And within a generation, oh my goodness, look, they go everywhere. The only place it doesn't touch is mostly Wales, and that's because these are all mountains. Though these new roads, as I mentioned, were subject to tolls, their better engineering and maintenance attracted commerce and travelers away from the old medieval roads. More than the new toll roads, when canal building took off in the 18th century, it kicked the English economy into high gear, despite, of course, when you have to go uphill and down dale only by making your way through slow locks like this one. But at least you can cross on this bridge. This is the Duke of Bridgewater's Canal. And no, this is not a railroad bridge or a road bridge. This is a canal bridge. That is a canal boat. This thing at the top is filled with water, and you can simply cross over without having to go all the way down, all the way up again. So here is the canal network by 1810. And again, another picture of the Duke of Bridgewater's Canal, a much longer bridge. Canals provided the first network for moving bulk goods and heavy goods cheaply, ones that had trouble being hauled uphill and down dale by horses in wagons. Remember, when it rained, unlike roads, with a canal, one didn't have to worry about mud or water. And together, this lowered both production costs and prices, in turn enabling new sales networks and new types of products to be both manufactured and sold. And also the factories that were up in the hills who needed access to water to turn their water wheels because they did not yet have steam engines. Well, this way you can go into the interior and ship it from, say, Manchester or Birmingham out to Liverpool on the sea coast before there were railroads, and then from Liverpool anywhere around the world. Later, canals provided amusement for the working classes, a weekend getaway. Then someone, we know who, had a very bright idea of putting a steam engine on a bed with 4 wheels, thus inventing the railroad locomotive. So the steam engine gave birth to the railroad, lowering transportation costs even further than canals. And with the railroads, at least you don't have to worry about the problems of going uphill and down dale through the slow locks. We see here the growth of railways in Europe. In 1840, mostly just Britain and a few other spaces. Within 10 years, the growth has been tremendous, and within a generation, it covers virtually all Europe. The only parts that are really not touched are parts of Spain, which really could use more, the Alps, and the Scandinavian and Scottish mountains. Of course, the old Ottoman Empire, where very few of these things are being done. Here, of course, is the English rail network by 1914. And this guy right here, I don't suggest you travel across the countryside by sitting in a train locomotive just like that. The new railroads not only carried bulk items, but, to everyone's surprise, people of all classes saw it as a quicker and easier way to get around than the old stagecoach system. Of course, being the class-based society that it was, Britain and others began, of course, by offering transportation based on different classes. So first class, clearly the best ride. Second class, okay, but not great. Third class, worse. And fourth class, you might as well be in a boxcar. But it is cheaper. Attracting the upper classes, the railroads became a symbol of luxury in and of themselves for the rich and newly rich. Sleeper cars, fine dining, smoking cars, and observation. Might as well be in your own fine living room. Of course, this man has his own private car entirely. This in turn led to the development of the train station. So see here, 2 of the earliest ones, St. Pancras and Paddington in London. The train station's functional requirements for open-air rail access via passenger platforms and for passenger comfort has spurred architectural modernity to the present day. As you see, these 19th century ones replaced by late 20th and early 21st century ones. The railways were so very popular as people movers that they quickly became part of the city as streetcars, subways, and elevated railways, as we see here. And of course, as we see here, paying the fare on your streetcar, sitting alone, talking. This interesting one here is a horse-drawn streetcar next to an electrical streetcar. Similarly, on rivers and canals, steamboats led to faster transport of goods and passengers, allowing for greater exploitation of the interior, which often, you couldn't really use a sailboat to go inside up the rivers and down the rivers. This, of course, again, so you wind up with great exploitation, greater ability to move up river and down river, as on the Nile, Amazon, Mississippi, Congo, and Yangtze rivers. The steamship first went to sea in 1809, and by 1870, regular ocean sailings by steamers were so common that the cost of ocean transport was but a seventh of the cost back in 1800. The steamship also made greater colonial control possible, as troops and administrators could now be quickly deployed abroad with the expectation that a trip there and back might take but months and not years. It also made possible emigration of Europe's surplus population on a mass scale, cutting down a long, dangerous ocean crossing to a few short weeks, which in turn spurred first business travel, then tourism, which began with the upper classes and then spread to the middle classes. And it led to a naval revolution, with steam-driven, steel-hulled warships whose destructive power outstripped all the old wooden sailing ships. But the need for coal led to imperial wars to control overseas coaling stations and establish naval bases. And here's the wrap-up quote. The most important event of the last quarter century is the establishment of railroads. The stupendous magnitude of the capital they have absorbed, the changes they have produced in the habits of society, the new aspect they have given to the affairs of government, the new feelings of power they have engendered, the triumphs and the disappointments of which they have been the cause, the new and excessive activities to which they have given rise, must lead all who reflect upon the subject to admit that the importance of the general result of these great undertakings can scarcely be exaggerated. They have done much towards changing the old deliberative and thoughtful habits of Englishmen. William Johnston, 1851. So, let me know what you think of this quote in the comment section below. Also, what you liked about this video, and what other historical topics or subjects you'd like to see in future videos. Be sure to click like, share, and especially subscribe, as it will help me bring you more great videos just like this one. And click on that little bell thingy so you'll know when the next History Waits for No One video is posted. If you want to know more, there are recommended studies on this topic in the description below, along with other ways to connect with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the past.